gonna pick up a bunch of fucking irregular humming I can't hear. Like, I don't understand. It's just not picking up anything. It's picking up the microphone mic, but it can't pick up. I don't know what's going on. Chat, hey, what's going on? Hey, how does it sound? Because I know it's got like a loud, probably humming in the background to it, but my microphone is literally dead. So it's picking up the microphone from the camera. I don't know what happened, but for some reason, Streamlabs is unable to pick up my actual USB microphone right now. I don't know what happened, and I haven't been able to figure out why all of a sudden it can't pick up the microphones anymore. I go to it's weird. I have to use the camera microphone for you guys to hear me now. For some strange reason, the microphones went dead on me. I don't know what happened. I really don't know. Yeah, it's like I said, it's gonna be humming, and the main reason I have the humming is because I have the bathroom door. My boiler, there's a boiler in the bathroom, right? And the people at my rental office, they refuse to fix it. They literally refuse to come fix it. Like, I've begged and pleaded for them to come fix it, but I put in work orders for the past, I don't know, 5 6 months for it. They won't come fix it, and it's gotten to the point now I'm going to end up taking the door down myself and replacing it. Like, I'm going to tell them tomorrow, hey, if this door isn't fixed by the end of this week, I'm taking it down myself and replacing it, because it's getting a little bit too crazy though. I know I probably do sound different, but I probably sound like I got an echo. I probably sound like I got an echo and shit, but I don't know. I don't know. And I turned it down a little bit so it's not peaking so much, but I see the red line still peaking in it. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Like I said, this is here. This is, as you can see, the color is on. That's the wild part. The color is on. It's plugged up, but Streamlabs won't pick it up. So if anything, what will probably happen is I'm gonna have to stop using Streamlabs altogether and use StreamYard. Because I know there's a lot of podcasters use StreamYard anyway. They don't use this book BS Streamlabs. So I'm going to be switching to StreamYard for the podcast. This bullshit Streamlabs has been annoying me since I got it. Um, I'm your host with the motherfucking most, Chill Motherfucking Murray. You are now tuned in live from the spot. Shout out to everybody tuned in, not tuned in. You know I do heavy rock. Like I said, as y'all know, um, put out a kite that I was going live. I'm really starting to wonder if I should just rebrand the channel altogether to the gaming. Even though I notice some of you don't necessarily tune in no more because of the gaming, I'm thinking about just rebranding it to the gaming. I've been really thinking about that. But I know a lot of you didn't come here for that. So that's the main reason I'm against going to the gaming. Because, like I said, you guys just didn't come here for that. Medusa, what's going on? What's going on? Fast Life Forever, what's going on? I'm just letting everybody get up in here before I even start doing anything. I don't think anybody is getting the notifications. No, it wouldn't be only gaming. It wouldn't be only gaming. It would be mixed in with this. It would be mixed in with this, but like I said, the problem is having people on the live that also support the gaming. I guess is the problem I guess I'm gonna have. But I'm gonna test it out later on today because I'm gonna be streaming Indiana Jones from YouTube. I'm gonna be playing Indiana Jones, and I'm gonna do like a part one, part two, that type of thing, and I'm gonna have that live on YouTube. So at least you guys don't feel like you're just watching a game that with a bunch of chaos that you don't know what's going on. Like you're not watching 2K, you're not watching Marvel Rivals. I get you guys probably are like, what am I even looking at right now? But at the same time, Indiana Jones looks more like a movie, so you guys should be able to enjoy that when it looking like a movie. Just waiting for a few more people to get up in here before we get into what we got to get into. And have much to get into, but because you gotta understand something. It's at the end of the year. It's also the end of the year, so a lot of the news is pretty much dwindled down. It's not much, but I watch gaming a lot. I'm watching Kai Cenat gaming now. I watch you play. I see. I didn't know that. See, I didn't know that. I didn't know that y'all was into it. That's the thing. I'll be wanting to put it on. And yeah, Kai Cenat is actually playing Fortnite right now. They playing Fortnite OG. Yeah, they playing Fortnite OG right now. I just was looking at that. I just was looking at that. But yeah, so all right, so if that's the case, like I said, I will be having, and I would love to have you as a moderator here, Medusa. I would love to have you as a moderator for the gaming channel mainly. Um, so we're going to be in Fury B as well as also into the Marvel Rivals. So you and Fury B would be great moderators for the gaming. So later on today, we'll be doing, like I said, part one of Indiana Jones. I will be doing that. Because I want to be able to stream with you guys every single night. I don't want to be only streaming or just doing a news podcast when some shit happens. You know what I mean? I do my pieces every now and then for the Patreon and whatnot for Twitch. Like I said, the Clarence Avon joint is next week. But at the same time, I want to be able to incorporate you guys in my real life too. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? I want you guys to always be in my real life too. I have to figure out how to link, because I have. Let me show you something real quick. I have the actual gaming channel together. I put the gaming channel together. Right? Hold on. Did the wrong thing. I have the gaming channel together. Oh god, that's gonna sound terrible. But at the same time, there's nobody there yet. So, and I already know. Um, Rome wasn't built in a day. I built this one up. I can build this one up. So I'm not discouraged as far as not having the followers and views right away. But at the same time, I'm having trouble linking the actual live to things. So I have to figure out, or just probably get a new OBS to link to the Chill Murray Gaming that links to my actual console. Um, but I'll figure it out. I will figure it out. I will figure it out. If not, I'll just, like I said, I'll just do it live from this particular channel. And like I said, it'll be the pod some nights, and it'll be the gaming some nights. I'll just do it like that. What do y'all think? Or should I just incorporate both things in the same channel? Because I want to have separate channels, but it looks like I'm going to have the same channel because it won't link to a separate one for some reason. I guess the OBS gets very confusing. It gets confused itself. The actual sync gets confused because I have my Twitch. You should connect with Tali Gaming channel, and she started her gaming channel too. Okay, I'll send you her video. Y'all can do games together live. Yes, definitely. I definitely want to do, because I'm on with I don't know if y'all familiar with Shakedown 2012. I game with him on Marvel Rivals. If you're familiar with Shakedown 2012. It's something guns, not Lonnie guns. Jazzy Guns. I've been trying to get up with Jazzy Guns for like a Texas Chainsaw run or Marvel Rivals run. I don't know how high her level is in Marvel Rival, but I definitely want to see what the Jazzy Guns and some of the other creators are doing. As far as that goes. But yes, I definitely need to collaborate with some more people in general. And to collaborate with more people in general. I apologize once again if you guys are hearing the humming in the background. It is literally my boiler in the bathroom. I have to get the door remeasured and fixed. Um, and my microphone has went out. So this doesn't work. It's lit up, but it's plugged in and doesn't work. So I am just bearing with it at this point. I'm just trying to bear with it. All right, so we have some people up in here, I guess. So, doo doo doo, doo doo. That was the first thing I was trying to show you guys. Was I did purchase a book. I did purchase this book here. Now, some people are familiar, some people are not, with who Captain William Morgan is. So, Captain William Morgan infiltrated the Freemasons. He was an anti-Mason, so they call it the Morgan Affair. Today in Masonic history, we discuss. Okay, so let me just go right to the actual Masonry Today website, right? So today in Masonic history, we discuss the Morgan Affair. The Morgan Affair begins with William Morgan. Morgan was a captain during the War of 1812. After the war, Morgan, who was in his 40s, married 19-year-old Lucinda Pendleton in Richmond, Virginia. The couple had 2 children. Now, ironically, Richmond, Virginia, that's where I believe the 12 colonies even started, so back in the day. After the birth of his children, Morgan moved his family to York. Before it was New York, it looks like, Upper Canada, where he started a brewery. When the brewery burned down, Morgan and his family were left in poverty. After the fire, Morgan moved his family first to Rochester, New York. There, Morgan allegedly became a member of the local Masonic Lodge, Wells Lodge number 282. It is important to note there is no written evidence of Morgan being raised in the lodge. In fact, it is questioned whether Morgan ever really went through the 3 degrees of Masonry. See, I like this, but I don't like this because they're trying to make it seem like a downplay that he didn't actually go through it. So, was it 1826? Okay, let me see something. Because there's another one here that actually, I want to see if there's one that actually isn't so biased. In 1826, a shadowy cabal kidnapped a man who had threatened to expose the rights. This is what I'm going at. So, in 1826, a shadowy cabal kidnapped a man who had threatened to expose the rights of the secretive brotherhood. American politics were never the same again. I like that title. American politics were never the same again. So to this day, nobody knows the true fate of Captain William Morgan. A failed businessman and citizen of generally low repute, Morgan was abducted from his home in the town of Batavia, New York. Into the early morning of September 11th, 1826, he soon found himself in a Canandaigua jail cell about 50 miles away, imprisoned for a debt of $2.65. What the debts back in the day, right? Imagine if someone told you, yo, my debt is $2.65 now. Imagine if somebody told you that shit. Yo, my credit gotta get fixed, bro. I owe like $1 right now on my shit. What? The whole ordeal was doubtless confusing to Morgan, a man best known for his drinking. It likely became even more confusing when a stranger paid his bail, but that man had no intention of setting him free. Morgan emerged from the jail only to be forced into a carriage, reportedly screaming out "murder" while he was being dragged away. So they definitely got rid of him. This is the last anyone ever saw of Morgan, about whom little else is certain. Some said that he was not really a military captain, while others claimed that he had earned that title in the War of 1812. Others asserted that both theories were technically true, that he fought the British in 1812 as a pirate seeking plunder and was granted a pardon of his misdeeds by the president after the war. What we do know is that whatever happened to him trapped inside that northbound carriage, in fearing for his life, Morgan never came back. Over the next 5 years, the details of Morgan's abduction would slowly come to light, setting off a political firestorm and giving rise to the first third party in American politics. Evidence suggested that Morgan's abduction was carried out by members, I hate when it does that, by members of a secret organization known as the Masons. Americans soon came to believe in the existence of a Masonic plot to overthrow society from within. The country's very existence, many proclaimed, was now in jeopardy. What began as an obscure crime in upstate New York would spark one of the first episodes of political hysteria in American history, laying the foundation for a long line of political crusades to come. Why is my Instagram going off like crazy? Okay, my live didn't go off. I thought my live went off for a second. So the story of Morgan's disappearance begins in the summer of 1826, when a new era was dawning in the nation's history. 50 years after the Declaration of Independence, the last of America's founding generation was dying off. A turning point highlighted by the deaths of both Thomas Jefferson and John Adams on the 4th of July that year. Oh, wow, that's crazy. A turning point highlighted by the deaths of both Thomas Jefferson and John Adams. So Thomas Jefferson and John Adams died on the 4th of July. That puts a little bit of context to why they had the sparkler with the... so remember when we showed the 3 knocks in the Kim Kardashian video? 3 knocks by someone that was holding a sparkler like they were symbolizing 4th of July. So look, in the death of Thomas Jefferson and John Adams were both on the 4th of July that year. That's crazy. So what would become of America's great experiment in democracy without the presence of the founders? In upstate New York, then on the outer edges of America's frontier, 2 men were occupied with a different question: how to secure personal fame and fortune. The first was David C. Miller, the publisher of Batavia's Republican Advocate. Miller's was an opposition paper pitted against the policies of New York's governor, DeWitt Clinton. Though he'd run the Journal for more than a decade, he was still a struggling newspaperman searching for higher circulation. The second was William Morgan, who had moved his family restlessly throughout the countryside, working first as a brewer, now as a stoneworker, hauling his wife Lucinda and 2 young children from one failed venture to the next. Only 2 years later, Morgan had written of his desperation: "The darkness of my prospects robs my mind. The extreme misery my body, the extreme misery my body." The 2 men made an odd pair, but what they lacked in common background, they shared in common circumstance, and now in common goals. Over that summer, the 2 hatched a plan to expose to the world the inner workings of the secret society of the Freemasons. How exactly the 2 first came into contact is not known, but neither was held in high esteem by his community. According to one source, Miller was known to be a man of irreligious character, great laxity of moral principle, and of intemperate habits. Much worse things were said about Morgan. Not surprisingly, both men harbored deep-seated animosity toward Freemasonry, which served as a symbol for the establishment class. Freemasonry is thought to have originated in England and Scotland sometime in the 1500s as a trade organization made up of local stoneworkers, but it soon took on a philosophical air. The triumph of reason began to be a focal point of the organization, as did dedication to deism, or the Enlightenment belief that the existence of God is apparent through observation and study rather than miracles or revelation. Over the centuries, the fraternity of Masons would expand throughout the world, as would its ceremonies and rituals, which involved strange symbols and oaths. In addition to its more benign emphasis on civic mindedness, religious tolerance, and communal learning, the group met in secret. Masons were overwhelmingly men of middle and upper class status, doctors, lawyers, and businessmen who had the time and leisure to join what amounted to a social club for the well-to-do. Many of the founding fathers had been Masons, including George Washington and Benjamin Franklin. Indeed, 13 of the 39 signers of the Constitution claimed membership in the fraternity. In the years between America's founding and 1826, Masonry had only grown more powerful, especially in New York. Governor DeWitt Clinton was not only a Mason, but had also been the Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of New York and the highest ranking Mason in the country. Isn't that something there? So, by one estimate, more than half of all publicly held offices in New York were occupied by Masons. So, if you ever wondered why it just seems like it's being swept up under the rug, even with Mayor Eric Adams, we showed already what Mr. Mayor Eric Adams was. They literally just celebrated his ascendance in Freemasonry the very week he was being indicted. The very week he was being indicted. They were promoting that man in Freemasonry the very week. Miller first hinted at some type of forthcoming revelation in an article published in The Advocate in August 1826. He had discovered the strongest evidence of rottenness. He wrote, evidence that compelled him, an unnamed collaborator, to an act of justice to ourselves and to the public. This bombshell was a book to be compiled by Morgan and printed by Miller, detailing Masonic rituals and misdeeds at the highest levels of power. Morgan wasn't a member of the Masons, but he had convinced other Masons that he was and had been granted access to a neighboring Masonic lodge. Morgan was thus able to witness the Mason ceremonies, recording their doings in a manuscript. News of Miller and Morgan's impending publication soon began to spread, and Masons in neighboring counties began to worry about the disclosures. Reporting one Mason at the time, I never saw men so excited in my life. Committees of Masons were quickly organized to investigate the revelations, and everything went forward in a kind of frenzy. Groups of concerned Masons began harassing Miller and Morgan with prosecutions for petty debt. $2.65 is still wild. With the tacit cooperation of the county sheriff, who briefly placed Morgan in jail, strange men thought to be Masons from other counties now began to make suspicious appearances in the villages of Ontario County, putting not just Miller and Morgan on edge, but entire towns too. On September 8th, a group of Masons attempted to destroy Miller's offices, capping a night of drinking at a local tavern. A group of several dozen men descended onto the print shop. There they found that Miller had convened a posse of his own, equipped with firearms and ready to fight. The Masons retreated, and Miller was safe for the time being. 2 nights later, Miller's office suddenly erupted into flames. Though the fire was detected early and no serious damage was done, cotton balls dipped in turpentine were reportedly found throughout the print shop. So, needless to say, even before they actually got him and killed him, he pretty much had to defend off. He had to defend them off from even coming at him. Free B, what's going on? Moment of silence for President Carter passing away. Yes, rest in peace. I just reported this news. 100 years old. Let me see here. Yes, definitely. Fury Fierce, what's going on? Let's see. I figure Bill Clinton and Joe Biden will go out about the same time. That's a possibility. That's a possibility as well. If you're just now tuning in, yes, we're going over the story of Captain William Morgan, who infiltrated the Freemasons. And if you could read between the lines, didn't necessarily live to tell about it, but he got the book off. So, yeah, there's that. Where was I? Okay, the print shop. All right. On September 11th, the conflict escalated. A half a dozen Masons showed up at Morgan's home with an arrest warrant. The charges: petty larceny for stealing a shirt and tie lent to Morgan by the owner of the town's tavern, which Morgan had failed to return. Son Morgan was being whisked away in a carriage through reportedly without worry. He apparently thought that testifying that he had simply forgotten to return the items would get him off the hook. He was right. The charges fell through and he was released, only to be immediately arrested again for the outstanding debt of $2.65. That is still crazy to me. $2.65 was his outstanding debt. Imagine, now this is 1826 of course, but imagine today, if you told someone Your debt was $2.65. That's all. That's literally it. That's literally it. Like, you couldn't get your credit up. Your credit is at a 580 right now, but you're trying to get it up. If you can just pay this $2.65, you'll have a 650 to 700 credit score. Just pay this $2 right now. Wow. Just wow. This time, the charges stuck. Morgan spent the following night in jail. The next day, he was forced into the carriage that sped northward out of town, never to be seen again. Sped northward. So they got him and hightailed it the fuck out of there. That wasn't the end of the ordeal. A group of Masons soon came back for Miller. On September 12th, roughly 70 armed Masons railed at a tavern, while a constable presented the publisher with a warrant for his arrest on questionable charges and conveyed him to be the nearby town of Leroy. Luckily for Miller, his lawyer and an armed posse from Batavia followed along, carrying him back home, but charges fell through. Okay. So as Miller and his crew returned to Batavia, the story of his arrest spread throughout the neighboring villages and towns. It was loose ends like Miller and the family that Morgan had left behind that would cause the Masons the most trouble. The fate of Morgan's wife, Lucinda, for example, would help to stoke up sympathy and support for Morgan's plight, deepening the public's anger for the Masons' crimes. The mother of two small children now no longer had a husband to depend on. So they pretty much got his whole family. They got him and went for his whole family, in a sense. But the Morgan affair wasn't just about the disappearance of one man. The crime had exposed the existence of a very powerful group shrouded in secrecy, manipulating the law for its own purposes. The story of Morgan's kidnapping, as it was told and retold throughout the coming weeks, focused on how the elite Masons had turned the public interest into a private one, and how the government itself may have been perverted in the process. So, in a sense, this is when they first got a whiff of the actual Freemasons, and the same way Captain Morgan had infiltrated the Freemasons, it looks like now the Freemasons had started to infiltrate government. And this is how they actually spread out, by having the Brotherhood spread from one place to another place to another place to another place. So even back early in the day, the Freemasons were a very secret group, and they had not spread out throughout the government just yet. So they weren't the initial creators of the government, but being that they had spread throughout in the government, they were able to be still the same secret architects that they are today. So as a result of the Batavia meetings, 2 weeks after the abduction, a series of heavily attended public meetings was held. Though the meetings were initially called to solve the mystery of Morgan's fate, they were equally about calming the public's fear. There was no guarantee, after all, that what happened to Morgan could not happen to others. As a result of the Batavia meetings, a panel was established, the so-called Committee of 10, which began sending agents into neighboring towns to investigate the abduction, gathering facts and taking down testimony. Soon neighboring towns followed suit with the committees of their own, all tasked with shedding light on the crime. These public meetings were people's meetings, and they convened people's committees. No government authorities were called in because many suspected, could be trusted. The committees were created to calm the public's sense of fear, but in fact, they helped to deepen it. Throughout the months of October and November, citizen representatives of the committees traveled throughout upstate New York, spreading the story of Morgan's abduction, serving to confirm the wild stories local newspapers were already printing about the kidnapping. Those who initially didn't believe what they read now heard witnesses attest to the truth of the affair. Meanwhile, speculation about Morgan's fate was becoming more and more sensational. One version of the kidnapping ended with Morgan being murdered in some sort of occult Masonic ceremony, with his throat slit from ear to ear and his tongue cut out with a knife. And this looks like here what they will be depicting as one of those things that they pictured in their minds with them doing. So up until this point, the public effort to get to the bottom of the scandal was straightforward. If impassioned, a group of men had conspired unlawfully against Morgan and Miller, and if they were not brought to justice, nothing prevented the same crime from occurring again. Once the criminals had been locked away, everyone could move on, or so at least it seemed in the early days after Morgan's disappearance, but this view would soon change. So, in other words, what they're necessarily getting at here, we don't necessarily have to continue on with the story. The main thing you have to know is they pretty much. Tamiko Show, what's going on? So they pretty much had Captain Morgan infiltrate the Freemasons, him and Miller, and once they infiltrated things and they tried to duck off and hide away, the Freemasons came and got them. And it sounds like they actually planned for the Freemasons to come and get them also. How I say that is because why on earth would you even publicly say that you're going to expose them if you haven't all the way infiltrated? You know what I mean? So it sounds like they infiltrated, they got out, said, hey, we're going to expose you guys, and then hid away just so enough people would start to take notice of what was going on and people come to get you. I like that. I like that. You pretty much put your life on the line, sacrifice yourself for people to even get whiff and knowledge of the Freemasons. That's very martyr-like. That is very martyr-like there. I have to say. That's actually very, very martyr-like. I like that. But the biggest thing to note is that he was able to get an entire book off. He was able to get a whole book off with this. That's the moral of the story. DJ Beer Game, what's going on? What's going on? I was about to text you, Beard. I was about to text you also. But yeah. Moral of the story is Captain William Morgan was literally able to put together and put out a book entitled The Mysteries of the Freemasons. Now, my whole thing is, I don't necessarily know if this is the original scripture or not. It has been said to be. It has been said to be the old 100-year scripture that he put together of all of the secrets. And I actually looked for that particular title too, Captain Morgan. But then there's other one too. There's Albert G. Mackey. There's a different one. So these are the other books that are out there. Okay, so as you can see, we have our glossary here. We can go and see, this is why I wanted to show you guys this particular part here, because we literally can go see footnotes, historical sketch of the kidnapping of William Morgan. Oh, they took the sketch out? I don't see the sketch. They took it out, I guess. But yeah. So again, I pretty much, want to go over this book with you guys over the next couple of weeks. We don't necessarily have to do it this evening, but over the next couple of weeks. These are all the questions that he was asking the Freemasons, the different symbols he was able to find, as far as the meanings of them. Just little bits and pieces of information. Little bits and pieces of information and meanings. Meanings also. What does the word signify? God praised, we have finished it. What followed? The most perfect caused me. So this is pretty much codes right here. These are pretty much code names right here. And we're going to be looking up what all these things mean. What is the grand elect, perfect and sublime mason? Opening. Most perfect Knox. Look at this. Opening. Most perfect Knox 3. Grand Marshal rises. Are we all, etc. Most perfect Knox 5 and Junior Warden rises. Most perfect says, Brother, Junior Warden, what is the hour? Ends high 12. What do you understand by high 12? That the sun has gained its meridian height and darts its rays with greatest force on his lodge. Most perfect says, it is then time that we should profit by its light. Most perfect knocks 7 and senior warden rises. Most perfect says, venerable brother senior warden, what brings you here? A. My love of masonry, my obligation, and a desire for perfection. What are the proper qualities for acquiring it? A frequent innocence and benevolence. How are you to conduct it in this place with the most profound respect? So I don't know if this sounds like it was a quiz almost. I'm seeing the letters A and whatnot. I don't know if there's an example letter ways to put examples too, but anyway, let's see. So how many passwords are there? One for each arc. Okay, so these are each arc. So first Joe, second Jiho, third Jua, fourth Hava, fifth El Jabor, sixth is Adonai, seventh Jokin, eighth Elo, ninth Elzaboth. So these are the different passwords for. So give me the sign made by kneeling on. Okay. There's different. Is the password of the Freemasons. Give me the grand word. Gibalam Ishtav. Gibalam is a good man. I almost want to look at what that is. That is not what I copy and pasted. Oh, I couldn't copy and paste it. Okay, so GIBU. Crazy, I came already as I pronounced it. As soon as I spelled it. So, did I spell it right? Gibulam. Okay. Oh, but they have Gibulim. I don't know why. I don't know why. Somebody sounded like an encyclopedia entry on Gibulim. Hebrew, a significant word in Freemasonry. Okay, so Hebrew. Oh, all right. So Gibulim is like another word for Hebrew. It is the plural of the noun Gibli. The G pronounced hard and means, according to the idiom of the Hebrew Gibeonites, or Gibeonites, I guess you could say, or inhabitants of the city of Jabal. What is hard G? Hard G is a gur or is it jur? That's a good question. That's good. Well, I mean, the jur, I guess, is yeah, because the jur is made after yeah, because G is with the I and everything else, and GE is similar like letter C, I guess. So GE would be J. Okay, I get it now. I get it now. So the Giblim or Giblites are mentioned in Scripture as assisting Solomon's and Hiram's builders to prepare the trees and the stones for building the temple. And from his passage, it is evident that they were clever artificers. What is that? I guess you could say artifact. Researchers of artifacts. I don't know why it says artificers. I'm not sure artificers or not. No, this is researcher of artifacts, but it's a weird way to word that. It's a very weird word to word that. Let me see here. I'm trying to people in the chat too. My boy told me that the 33rd degree basically is Islam. Yes, but they also have Freemasons too that are 33rd degree. They have 33rd degree in Masonry too, which is why they wear turbans. They had a, let's see, but how did they get it published? That was a good question. That's a good question. I'm not sure how necessarily they got it published other than his wife Lucinda. That was the only thing that I could think of. They didn't necessarily say who actually got the notes out in anything that I've read. Trust me when I tell you. That's why I stopped ahead of time. I was like, they're going to pretty much just run this in a circle, this article. Because they never actually say who actually put it out, but I'm guessing it was his wife Lucinda. Since she was like the closest one. That's why I said I think he planned to get caught. That way she would be safe and she can just get the book out. That's what it sounded like. Yeah, I figured that. Hard G is Ja. I figured hard G is Ja. Because I saw even the GE. I was like, yeah, it gotta be a hard G. Yeah, GIF my answer to. Yes, definitely. That's why it kind of it's kind of tricky. See, the C and the G is always confusing depending upon what letter you put after it. Depending upon if it's an E after or I after, makes a lot of difference on how you pronounce it. Let me see. Explain why he always got his foot on something when we didn't know it was the Masons next. Like how the proper pronunciation. Okay, but yes. So let's see here. What else is in my glossary? What else was in the glossary? I wish I could go back by the actual number of pages. Back to 141. No, I want to go back to 141. Actually, yeah, I did. Okay, so this is the glossary here. Ooh, I'm cramping heavy. My stomach is cramping heavy. I know I have to use the bathroom today. Try to suppress these cramps just as much as I can. As much as I can. Knights of the Red Cross, Knights of Templar. See, the main reason why I want to go over a lot of these things in this book, and it's going to be a time. We're going to have to break this off into sections. We're definitely going to have to break this off into sections. I guess I'm going to have to do it throughout the year. We're going to have to break this thing into sections, this entire book. And that'll be here on the YouTube channel. I'm going to break these down into different sections, I see. Yeah, each week we're going to do at least two of these different sections here. Because it's best we know what we're up against as well. It's best we know the secrets that we're up against as well. I don't see too many channels being that brave to break down, the third degree, the fourth, we looked at the fourth Master's Mason degree before, right? So, test, oath, and word. The following test, oath, and word were invented and adopted by the Grand Lodge of the State of New York at their session in June 1827 for the purpose of guarding against book masons. They are given in a master's lodge. They were obtained from a gentleman in high standing in society and among masons, but a friend to anti-masonry. He was a member of the Grand Lodge and present when they were adopted. And present when they were adopted. A person wishing to be admitted into the lodge presents himself at the door. The Tyler, or some brother from within, demands or asks, "Do you wish to visit this lodge?" The candidate for admission says, if thought worthy, "Tyler, by what are you recommended?" Answer, "By fidelity." Tyler says, "Prove that." At the same time, advances and throws out his hand or arm to an angle of about 45 degrees. So I guess he turned his arm this way. Because that would be 9 o'clock. So yeah, he turned his arm about this way. Uh, obliquely, oh, yes, obliquely forward, the hand open and thumb upward. The candidate then advances and places the back of his left hand against the palm of Tyler's right hand. Okay, so let me see. Left hand against the palm of the right hand. Okay, so I can't necessarily show you exactly how it is, but it would be like pretty much the person turned their left to the they put their right hand and turned it to the left, and then put their left hand over the palm area. So pretty much the shake was like this, but they turned it to the left. So pretty much if you see someone do a handshake and you see the left hand from the other side of the other person, so pretty much the person that's facing you in a sense, and you see a handshake, right? If you see them turn their arm to a 45-degree angle sort of towards the left almost while they're shaking their hand, and you see that left hand go up onto the palm, that's them giving them the test and oath of the word, or I should say there's also them giving a Freemason handshake to them. Not necessarily a test oath of the word, they're just giving them the Freemason handshake. So that be of my own free will and accord. In the presence of Almighty God, solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will not communicate the secret test word annexed to his obligation to any but a true and lawful Master Mason, and that in the body of a lawful lodge of such in an actual session or at the door of a lodge for the purpose of gaining admission under the penalty of being forever disgraced and dishonored as a man and despised, degraded, and expelled as a Mason. So pretty much that's just the tip of the iceberg for what they did to Captain Morgan. Okay, so fourth or mark master's degree. Ceremonies used in opening a lodge of mark master masons. One rap calls the lodge to order. One calls up the junior and senior deacons. Two raps call up the subordinate officers, and three all of the members of the lodge. The right worshipful master having called the lodge to order and all being seated, the right worshipful master says to the junior warden, brother junior, are they all marked master masons in the south? Junior warden answers, they are right worshipful, they are right worshipful RWM. I never understood the initials when they spoke of someone in masonry. There's always like the second and third initials. I don't know why they call them that. Like, see up there, the IAB? I don't know what the AB is. Right down here is RWM. So I thank you, brother RWM. Brother senior, are they all master masons? I guess that's levels of masonry. So okay, now I get it now. So right worshipful master. That's right RWM. That makes sense. That makes sense now. What was AB then? What was AB then? You never said this, what AB was. Okay. Anyway, let's see here. So, brother senior, are they all they're all marked master masons in the west. Senior warden, they are right worshipful master. They are in the east. At the same time, gives a rap with the mallet, which calls up both deacons, right worshipful master. I'm just gonna say RDM now, unless I know what it is now. Now I know what it is. So right worshipful masters, that's RDM. So RDM brother junior, the first care of a mason, to see the lodge tiled, right worshipful. Why do they repeat it? RWM attend to that part of the duty and inform the tiler that we are about to open a lodge of mark master masons, and direct him to tile accordingly. Junior deacon steps to the door and gives 4 raps, which are answered by 4 by the tiler. The junior deacon then gives 1, which is answered by the tiler with 1. The door is then partly opened, and the junior deacon then delivers his message and resumes his station. Gives the due guard of a mark master mason and says the door is tiled right worshipful master, by whom JD by a Mark Master Mason without the door, armed with the proper implements of his office. This is pretty much the ceremony that they're breaking down for the person that becomes, that fourth degree. This is pretty much the symbolism of not symbolism, the breakdown of what they do in detail. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's see what they got going on here. So, okay, so okay, yeah. I figured that's what that meant too with the palm up. That's what I was saying with when they turn like their arm up. But yeah. So it looks like they have. Let me see how many degrees did they have in here. Oh, they stop at that one. Okay. They stop at that. They stop at was it Royal Arc degree? They stop at the Royal Arc degree in this one. They don't necessarily get into the 33rd degrees and whatnot. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense here. So this is okay, and that would the reason why it really makes sense is because it's probably as far as he got. So he pretty much was able to even he was pretty much able to infiltrate and just know as far as the Royal Arc degree. He wasn't able to infiltrate and see what the other high rankings of degree would be. Because like I said before, I can't even say allegedly. I don't have to say allegedly. Jay-Z is a 33rd degree Mason. I showed you guys the picture of did I show you guys the picture of Jay-Z being in the Freemason picture of him? I think I showed you guys that. I showed you guys that picture, I think. I don't know if it might be a little bit hard to find now. It might be a little bit hard to find. Oh, there it is. I didn't think they still had it up. I did not think they still had the picture up of him. But plain as day. Plain as day. Him there, plain as day. This is a different one here. Grand Master and Staff Military. This has nothing to do with Jay-Z, but yeah. Plain as day. And then of course you see the handshake with him and LeBron. This is one of the biggest reasons we're going over the symbolism in the handshakes. I mean, hell, these guys did a record together called Freemasons. I go to the grave before I be a bitch nigga. Better behave, you dealing with some rich niggas. Started in together, now we worldwide. Alright. Oh, there goes one of the Mason handshakes right there. See how he cuffs up under the palm? Remember I told you before, he cuffs up under the palm. And there's different ones because look how Snoop's hand is almost like tilted. Almost like a feminine handshake. Speaking of Jay-Z though, speaking of Jigga Man, Jigga-Do, Jigga-Do, speaking of Jigga-Do, Jigga-Do, Jigga Man is still going to be going to court, it seems like.
And a federal judge has ruled the woman alleging she was raped by Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs can remain anonymous. The woman says both men raped her at a party when she was 13 years old. Jay-Z's legal team had fought to get the case dismissed, arguing his accuser should have to reveal her name. But the judge disagreed. ABC's Morgan Norwood has the latest.
A legal victory for the woman who is suing Jay-Z for allegedly raping her when she was 13.
Hold on. Let me figure out why the audio is off on this. If not, I'll just go to what's her name? I'm not sure whether audio is missing from that. Let me see something here. Oh boy. Oh, Streamlabs, you are really being on the fritz today, huh? Oh yeah, Streamlabs is on its way out completely. So now it's not picking up anything. Now it's not even picking up my desktop audio. My goodness. My goodness, it's not even picking up my actual audio now. All right, let's see what it picks up now. Let's see what it does now. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Hold on. I don't want to start it over. Let me figure out what's going on, fellas. Oh man, so you guys can only hear me. You guys can't even hear the audio of the videos. Oh man, this whole thing is just a wreck now. I don't know what they've been doing to me lately. I don't know if it's the computer being a piece of shit now, or it's just Streamlabs being a piece of shit now, because this is crazy. Now you guys can't even hear anything. This is Streamlabs OBS. This is just switch to OBS. Streamlabs OBS isn't the real OBS, and scams off their name. Yeah, I feel like it now. Streamlabs is really a big scam, because this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous that now my audio is just completely cutting. Now I'm starting to wonder if the microphone still works, but this Streamlabs is just being shitty. Because that's just weird. But I don't necessarily know, because like I said, I'm playing, I'm not playing it straight from Streamlabs. I'm trying to see what's going on with my audio, period. I don't know what's going on with the audio right now. Oh, you know what? Let me see. I think I know what's going on. I think I know what's going on. Hold on. Alright, there we go. There we go. Now, how the speakers got turned on to that.
And a federal judge has ruled the woman alleging she was raped by Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs can remain anonymous. The woman says both men raped her at a party when she was 13 years old. Jay-Z's legal team had fought to get the case dismissed, arguing his accuser should have to reveal her name. But the judge disagreed. ABC's Morgan Norwood has the latest.
A legal victory for the woman who is suing Jay-Z for allegedly raping her when she was 13. A federal judge ruling the woman can proceed with the case while remaining anonymous, at least for now. But the judge also chastising the lawyers representing Jay-Z. As the council demands it. This latest legal twist coming after the recently filed civil lawsuit by Jane Doe, claiming that Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, and
I had to switch it back to the camera. Alright, let me start this over. Like I said, I have to figure out why Streamlabs is such a piece of shit right now. But I'll figure it out later.
And a federal judge has ruled the woman alleging she was raped by Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs can remain anonymous. The woman says both men raped her at a party when she was 13 years old. Jay-Z's legal team had fought to get the case dismissed, arguing his accuser should have to reveal her name. But the judge disagreed. ABC's Morgan Norwood has the latest.
A legal victory for the woman who is suing Jay-Z for allegedly raping her when she was 13. A federal judge ruling the woman can proceed with the case while remaining anonymous, at least for now. But the judge also chastising the lawyers representing Jay-Z, accusing them of trying to fast-track the judicial process by repeatedly filing motions to reveal the identity of the Jane Doe to have the case dismissed. The judge writing in a 5-page brief that the Carter's lawyers' relentless filing of combative motions containing inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks is inappropriate, a waste of judicial resources, and a tactic unlikely to benefit his client. The court will not fast-track the judicial process merely because the counsel demands it. This latest legal twist coming after the recently filed civil lawsuit by Jane Doe, claiming that Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, and P. Diddy, drugged and raped a 13-year-old girl at an after-party after the MTV Music Awards in 2000, while an unnamed celebrity watched. Jay-Z has vehemently denied all the allegations, putting out this statement 2 weeks ago, writing in part, "This is a blackmail attempt." The multi-platinum artist, who was 30 at the time, now a business mogul with decades of hits to his name, with songs like Run This Town.
We are, yeah, I said it, we are. This is Rock Nation, pledge your allegiance.
His attorneys have denied everything about Jane Doe's account and pointed to some alleged inconsistencies in her story.
It's not just that this story is a lie and that it's not true. It's provably, demonstrably false. This never happened.
The judge writing that while Jane Doe can remain anonymous for now, she may be required to reveal her identity at a later date to allow Jay-Z's lawyers to collect facts necessary to prepare for trial.
Oftentimes, when someone is accused of a crime like this, the accuser doesn't want to be named, and if they are forced to be named, we have seen certain people decide to drop the lawsuit altogether.
Morgan Norwood, thank you. And Tony Busby, the lawyer representing Jay-Z and Diddy's accusers, says in a statement to ABC News, quote, "I will say that the coordinated and desperate efforts to attack me as counsel for alleged victims are falling flat. We won't be bullied or intimidated." And we did reach out to Jay-Z and his team, but did not get a response.
I tell you. And I don't understand why they wouldn't think that this wasn't going to still go forward. See, the thing is, the main reason why this is still going forward is for the simple fact that it's not his case. It's not his case to dismiss. This is Diddy's case. You were just an accomplice to his case. That is why it's still moving forward. You never had any type of decision making over this. You didn't. You never had any type of decision making over this, Jay. I don't know what made you think that Spiro could get you off of the hook of this, and it's not even your fucking case to get dismissed. It's Diddy's. It was never yours to begin with. You were always attached to him, and that's the part that you were trying to remove. You can't remove history. You cannot remove history. There's plenty pictures of you two. There's plenty of them. It's so many pictures. It's blasphemous and damn near, hysterical the way you're crying laughing when you say that you don't know him. To say that you don't know the man. Of course this case is moving forward. Of course this case is moving forward. Once again, I do apologize for those just coming in on how my audio is and my microphone went dead on me. Literally went dead on me. It's plugged in right now and it went completely dead on me. So the audio is literally coming from the camera. So if it sounds like shit, it's because it's the humming from the bathroom door and they refuse to fix my door. So tomorrow I'm going to tell them, hey, I'm going to cut that door down and get a new one measured. Because I've been asking for the past 4 or 5 months since I've been here to simply, hey, can someone just give me another door and get this one measured? And I'm tired of hearing this all day. I'm just tired of hearing it all day long. But like I said, I have no choice. I have no choice in the matter on that. So, it wasn't really much to get to today. Alright, so SZA was next thing. I guess I wanted to look up real quick. SZA was the next thing that I had on my mind. Actually, no. While we're on Jay-Z, I did have something else to look at because I wanted to see what Dame Dash was talking about. I wanted to see what Dame Dash was talking about with him as well.
In real time, did you know anything about the tension between Dipset and Jay?
Yeah, you can't. I was refereeing it. I was trying to keep everybody cool. So I'd tell Jay, like, yo, why you keep fucking with him? He's young. Like, what's the problem? So Jay would be, all right, cool. And then go on the radio and say, yeah, Cam is a good earner. And then Cam would be like, why you got to call me an earner? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know why he called you an earner. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. You know, so I don't know why Jay always had a thing with Cam. He always had a thing like that. He had a thing with everybody, bro. Pause.
And that H to the Izzo beat was supposed to be Cam's, right?
I didn't know that was the case because I know, I remember that, but maybe I don't see Kanye. Kanye wasn't just giving shit, like the beats that Cam got, like, oh boy, he took that shit. It wasn't like it was given to him. It was just like, oh, this is here, I'm taking this, and I wasn't even mad at it because it was acting funny. You know, I produced Kanye's first record that was on the radio. We Are the Champions on my album, The Dream Team. So I produced that with Kanye. And the reason why he got that beat was because I gave it the sample to Just Blaze to flip, and he was disrespecting me and just ignoring me. And Kanye was like, I'll do it. And then when he did it, I said, because you did it, jump on it. Paul. And then Cam jumped on it and you know, fucking Beanie. It was dope. I think Young Chris.
What was the deal with Kanye?
That threw me for a loop there. See, I apologize, the audio was low so you can't hear Art asking him the questions, but yeah, that threw me for a loop there. Hold on.
Just ignoring me. And Kanye was like, I'll do it. And then when he did it, I said, because you did it, jump on it. Paul. And then Cam jumped on it and you know, fucking Beanie. It was dope. I think Young Chris.
What was the deal with Kanye? Like, why wasn't anybody supporting him as a rapper outside of you?
Because he, you know, like, we looked at him, like, I never looked at Kanye as a rapper. And Kanye always looked at himself, which is not a bad thing, but, you know, he always thought he was bigger than everyone else thought he was until he got there. His jaw, that's when it was like, damn, he's the best producer that could rap. Like how at least everybody from Rockefeller could jump on the album. So you're gonna get Jay, you're gonna get Cam, all of that. Everyone he made a beat for should do a record for him. But I never looked at him as a rapper. And then when he started rapping, after he broke his jaw, that's when it was like, damn, he's the best producer that could rap. Like how Dre could rap. Like, you don't look at Dr. Dre as a rapper, you look at him as a producer. Me knowing Kanye, it would be like Just Blaze starting to rap. I knew them first as producers. It's really hard for me to unsee people the way I first saw them. That's why I like certain people, no matter what they do, how much money they make, I still see them as that same person. And that could be the default. But it's hard to, like, unsee what you first saw. The reason why if you look at the movie, the reason why he was like, the contracts took so long is because Jay would not sign off on them. So that was the problem. But again, if I were to tell Kanye, yo, Jay won't sign off on your, you know, then he would have, like, jumped off the, you know, he would have took it too hard. So I could never really say when, it was always me, like, having to be like, you know, make excuses because things had to move slower because we always had to wait for Homeboy to give his one signature because he always knew that Biggs was going to rock out with me. So he just would torture us to get shit done.
It sounds like, so, and I remember before Dame said that he didn't Rockefeller kind of broke up because of Biggs. Because Biggs was the middleman. He didn't necessarily like Biggs being, you know what I'm saying, the guy that had to... Biggs pretty much was the investor. Biggs was the original investor of Rockefeller, whether people know that or not. So even though he was the quietest one, he was also, the reason why he was the quietest one was because he was making the money in the streets and because he was the main investor and sponsor of Rockefeller. And like he just said, anything he did, Biggs rocked out with Dame as far as a business sense. He didn't necessarily rock with Jay on the business sense yet. Jay was never the businessman of Rockefeller, whether people want to know that or not. He was always just the rapper. But at the same time, yes, he was a habitual hater. He always had that say-so because of the records. He always had a say-so in Rockefeller, mainly because he was an artist that was successful in Rockefeller. That's really what it was. Jay just always seemed like the front man and the biggest boss on Rockefeller because Dame made him look that way. Dame made Jay look like he was the boss of Rockefeller. He wasn't innocent. Little things like that, saying, oh, you want to do this record, you want to do that record, or sign off on this, sign off on that. Because he gave Jay that CEO title and power, Jay was doing asshole shit. He was always doing asshole shit in regards to the members of Rockefeller and even state property. Hell, you see why it had to get branched off to state property and not state Rockefeller. Because Jay wanted to just be by his damn self on Rockefeller initially after the Dynasty album. Look at the Dynasty album in itself, right? You couldn't even tell me that was another Rockefeller compilation album. That was just another Jay-Z fucking album. You saw just him on the cover with the diamond up. You didn't see the whole Rockefeller. It was supposed to be a Rockefeller collective album. But all you saw was just Jay. Yeah, I did see that video as well. And see, all people kind of, and now I will take up for him on this part, right? It was out of context because that particular video that's out there was him necessarily. I think it was mushing. He was mushing, I think, his cousin or his sister or something like that, and pretty much they were play fighting. So he pretty much that's where the mush came from. That's really where the mush came from. A lot of people took that video out of context and just saw the actual mush that he did, but they were actually play fighting. But that's wild to me. That's wild to me that he was that much of a dick to Beanie. I didn't know he was that much of a dick to Beanie as well as he was to Kanye.
If it wasn't about him. Now his budgets, they got signed off on very fast. To be honest, there was a time like I had took Kanye's chain off his neck because he was driving me nuts. So when that had happened, he was already like, I had dropped Kanye from Rockefeller. I dropped Kanye. So at that point, I was done with them. I was ready to go do my own thing. I gave people out of respect the opportunity, like, yo, there's Dame Dash, I forgot what the name of the record is, Dash Records, whatever. So I was like, y'all can go over there if they won't f with you. But like, really, I'm done with this music shit. Like, I was done. I was burnt out. Everybody was corny to me. Everybody was weird to me. Everybody was manipulative and exploitive. And it just smelled like bad breath. And it still does. Like, you walk into a room and you just, I just got sick of smelling hot paws, bad stink demon breath. I didn't want to smell that no more. I didn't want to be around it. I was done. Like, I was done, man. I just done it for 15 years. So I didn't want to do that shit no more. I wanted to do fashion. So how did I feel? I didn't feel, I wasn't even thinking about it. I just was like, let me go get this Rachel Roy off the ground and turn that into a $100 million company, which I did, that nobody talks about.
What made you take a chain?
Because two things. Beans was getting ready. We thought he was going to go to jail for a couple of years. He was on trial. So I was trying to make 4 albums for him, or 5, so that if he went to jail, because every time if you sold 500,000 records, I could give you $1 million advance. So if I already have 5 albums that each went gold, while he was in jail, I could always make sure he had 500 grand. So I was just trying to get it all done. And Kanye wouldn't give him any beats. That was one reason. And the other reason why is I had spent like $500,000 to $600,000 with Rockware's money developing his line Pastel. I still got the samples. And all of a sudden he was like, I don't like him no more. And he was just starting to Kanye out. And that was it. I was done. So I was like, man, you got to get out. You know, I was tight. So I had the chain, you know what I mean? And people, my inner crew talks about that. Like, damn, you dropped Kanye. I'm like, I don't give a f. I'd done so much to fight for him, you know, it was like, what more can I do? So I just felt like I can't be arguing. I don't care how many records you sell. And that was before that was like when he first got hot.
So Kanye did have a period where he got a little bit arrogant with him. He got a little bit too arrogant with him a little bit too early, it sounds like. Given what we heard about Jay, probably penis breath. Man. Man. I'm not going to put past that. I'm not going to put it past that.
I was more bothered when Beans chose to go with Jay. That one hurt. Because I'd done a lot and prepared. I chose State Property over Rockware. And I wanted to just roll out with State Property. But it almost like he tricked Beans to shelf him, and he f***ed his life up to me doing that. But I had him, you know what I mean? Like, that was my new Jay. Like, I looked at them like NWA.
And that's crazy. He looked at Bean like his new Jay. Imagine that, though, right? Jay came to him and he got the Diddy ball breath. Imagine that shit. He got the baby oil Diddy ball breath talking to Dame. Dame was like, what in the hell did you just come out of eating or hitting the stuff, whatever.
And I like the clothes better than Rockware. They had Beans trying to, like, I forgot this. I hate when I forget people's names, but the person that was like my partner and doing the licensing for State Property, because sales was telling them that, you know, Rockware was doing this, that, and the third, that State Property should be more like Rockware as opposed to being more like Dickies and Carhartt, which is the way I designed it. And they started signing off on shit behind my back. It was like, I bet wrong on that one. That might be something I would have done different.
So you feel like if Beans would have went with Shu instead of Jay, his career would have been bigger?
What? It's not even the shit I had planned for them. He fucked his own self up for that one. Like, I had the movies, right? I had the clothing line. The clothing line was doing 20 million a year. You know, so we had the movies, the touring, the clothing line. You gotta remember, like, I activated all of those things. You know, like, I was making Beans when I was talking to Cam about being the vice president, talking to him. I was also talking to Beans. I was making both of them vice presidents because they had labels. I was the one that was strategically growing and planting seeds, to grow their businesses, whether they knew it or not. Whether they knew it was in their best interest or not, I was still doing it. So I made sure everybody had their own movie. Everybody had their own clothing line.
Dame is such a Harlem nigga. You don't gotta pause on the planting seeds, man. You're planting seeds, man. You don't have to pause on the planting seeds.
Remember, Cam had a fragrance. He had Old Boy a fragrance. I did that. Back then.
Yeah, I remember that.
Could you imagine if that shit would have stayed, if they wouldn't have fucked that up? You know, nobody wants to listen to me ever.
Shout out to the Dame Dash, man. Because even though he's in bankruptcy, even though he's in so much debt right now, you can tell that's why he's doing all these interviews, is because he's in debt. So he's trying to just make some money off doing this shit. He knows there's a lot of money in doing these interviews and people pay him enough money. But at the same time, not a lot of people have the money to pay him. Yeah, he pauses every fucking thing. I'm like, dude, planting seeds isn't a pause. But that was a funny one, though. Not even pause. Stop, eject, burn the tape. That was a funny ass one. That was a funny ass one. But I never looked at it that way, but he's very right. And a lot of people say that if you are a huge fan of Rockefeller in general, a lot of people say that Beanie Siegel would be where Jay was if it wasn't for certain behind the scenes happenings with Jay-Z. I'll just say it like that. If it wasn't for certain behind the scenes politics, Beanie Sigel would have easily been another Jay-Z, because Beanie could flat out just rap. Beanie could flat out rap. Beanie lived that life. Beanie was in the struggle. Beanie made some great records about the struggle. He made real life shit. So if Beans was able to get the same amount of looks and hit records, I definitely agree with him as far as he would have been somewhere. Like, matter of fact, let me see if I could. Hopefully they don't, you know what I'm saying, get me for this, but let me see. Let me see something, because for those that don't know him, I mean, this is okay. So this is perfect. This is perfect right here. This is perfect right here. This is the Hot 97 freestyle.
That right there. Who is that?
Sigel.
Holla.
Yeah, see what you got. Okay.
Sigel.
Yeah.
Free.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep that one on right there. Keep that one on right there. We want to go nice and slow. Hold on. Right before y'all start that, if y'all ain't got y'all tapes ready, y'all should get y'all tapes ready. Now.
I'm sitting in the crib dreaming about Bentleys and rides. How big got rocked, how Pac died.
Phone call, some kids got rocked, some shots fly.
Yo, who this, dog?
The cops just came, the block closed.
Give me 15 minutes, I'll be there suited and SWAT clothes.
Plus I just had to grip up some cane, they drop O's.
You see if they gripped up Arcane and Pop O down on the block.
All I know is some dudes got knocked.
Man, if that nigga got knocked, he this bird in our stash. That's a case plus a loss for a bird and a half. Man, I'm dying to see if my face still working this mask.
See if my hands still work with the steel. Getaway driver, whip game, reversing the wheel, a block and a half.
Pissed about this block and a half. I told that fucker take the block to the stash. All that nigga had to do was walk a block and a half.
Don't wet it, I got some dudes that'll post up right in the lot.
I got my niggas that'll come through right in the noon. Strip everybody down to they socks.
Make them fuckers strip down to they nude.
Listen, I got a pump in the tuck that'll drop every truck on they block.
My SK lift every car on your street.
They must be retarded to sleep. AK rip the crash bar of they Jeep.
Rock, keep guns, never borrow when heat.
B Sigel, nocturnal flow, bar your sleep.
Yo, niggas don't know free bound to drop. Take that, yo, you scared the cop.
16, dog, and I ain't talking about years, I'm talking about bars, I'm talking about tears. I said back. Who thought I'd be a star? I was a bad boy. Sleeping in cars like Craig Mack. 16 sticking up bars with no gap. Lead pipe in the towel. Ice real red, I'm wiping you out. Playing fail, still wiping you out. Beat you down for this coke with a smile. Mom like Lord. Was provoking my child. The devil in him, Lord, focus his eyes. I'm like, Mom, open the door.
Anything.
I'm out, rather roll with my boys. Please, I'm gone.
I got
16,
anything.
left out my home, now hooked up with Tooch. Out of my own,
anything.
I'm getting loot. Listen,
call me, man. The
took me out of my home. I'm like, damn, it's gone.
I swear to you,
Look,
I promise you.
now I'm on, it's 18, dog, listen. Now I'm back, I went in his beans, I'm 18. Now I'm Mac, I'm back on the block. Me news free, attacking the block. Neighbors contacting the cops, contacting our clock. Haters, listen, 19 still trapped on the block. 6 months later, clapped by the cops. Picture Mac handcuffed to the bed. Knew I was big, get the will of sit in the chair. I straight that case, I'm 20 now. I know life ain't funny now. It's time to get at this money now. 21, I started peeping the game. 21, listen, 22, I started seeing some change. 23, started seeing a change. Something going on, backwards now. It's not mathematics now. 24, look, ripped up the mic. Went on tour with Hova, kicked in the door. 25, gripped up my balls and spit in the light and say my name, bastard. I got the game, man.
When I was 16, I was messing around with leaking them. Holding guns with Zeman.
I got any amount of money.
Salide at the Masjid on 4th and Jefferson because I needed that. Messed around with my man sister because I needed that. Real close to the block, real nice spot for the gat. Spot for the packs, in love with the shot. It's taking me back. 17, taking your drugs. 22, rifle and 9 and back in your house. Breaking your dubs, you need to watch who you let into your house. Little black hungry nigga breaking your trust. You hungry too? Ooh, blast food breaking with us. But more like me breaking with them cause they was up. Roll with them. 19 chaining me up for an attempt that I didn't do, pointing me out. Seems like some fake haters framing me up. It's cool, money stashed on point, I'm out. I was a dub, sitting on dubs, I'm out. Hitting my connection.
Yeah, real quick. You know what? You know what's making me want to do? I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. Cause I'm feeling very nostalgic right now. And this is back when you had to really freestyle. This is back when you had to really fucking freestyle the radio. It wasn't no writtens. There was no you come up there with your written. There was no you come up there and reel up the phone. None of that shit. You come there and rap, goddammit. You come there and rap your ass off for an hour and a half. Not no damn 5 minutes. No, you stay your ass here and you rap for an hour and a half. One of you rap for an hour and a half. The rest of you, hour, non-stop. That's literally what it was back in the day. That is literally what it was back in the day, yo. Before the fucking phones, bruh, you had to really go up there and rap your ass off. But this is making me want to look at, you know what I'm saying, the old days of this shit, for real, for real. Hold on, I don't know why. Cypher Sounds, you got it with this damn, with these commercials and shit.